Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. So, little update this morning on this presenter row. Probably by the time I've got this video, everything might have changed again because it's a very sort of fluid situation, isn't it? Things are changing left, right, and centre. I'm going to do my housekeeping first because I don't always remember to do that. So while I remember to do it, when I'm on a live, I always get distracted. So I probably won't bother doing that on the lives. So let's have a look at the development. So yes, last night I went on, didn't I? I came on live. And the news last night was that the lawyer for the youth involved, who they do seem to be describing as a boy or a male today. There's a lot of he, but I still don't know for sure if it's a boy or a girl or a boy. The lawyer for them came out and said it was all a load of rubbish, nothing appropriate happened, etc. So it's like, in this sort of game of tennis that we're playing, it's like back to the Sun now, the Sun newspaper, ball's back in your court to prove that something happened. But I still believe that I don't believe, well, if they did, they're stupid. And I know they are pretty stupid, but if the Sun really ran that story without any evidence, I'd be very surprised. Anyway, apparently now it comes out that the actual lawyer for the youth involved spoke to the Sun on Friday, and before the Sun had actually come out with this story, they still went ahead with the story despite the lawyer, this very, very expensive lawyer for this person with a crack cocaine habit. I wonder who's paying for that lawyer. So that was the news, wasn't it, last night, that the person involved, the young person involved, had denied through the lawyer, that I don't know how they managed to pay for them, that there was nothing in this story. So it was all eyes on the Sun this morning. I'm going to show you the headlines in the Sun this morning briefly. BBC are liars. BBC are liars. The family of the youngster paid by the BBC star for sex pictures says the corporation ignored the bombshell testimony given 7 weeks ago. So the parents of the youngster in the BBC storm say, we spoke out to protect our child. And they insist that it's true. It is true, and that they've got proof. I would have thought there must be some bank proof, surely. Anyway, I'll stop sharing that now because I don't want any copyright or whatever. So that's the response then this morning from the Sun. The other newspapers all seem a bit ambivalent about it because they don't know, because all this has come from the Sun. The Sun says, don't they say it's relevant that they say the family stick by what they say rather than we stick by what we say? But I don't know. You can read anything into this. So, yeah, I've noticed today they're definitely referring to the young person as he much more. Now, whether that's just, sometimes you just say that automatically, because I don't know. Is the youth a boy or a girl? We don't even know that. And we still don't know which presenter it is. Meanwhile, everything's going. What I don't understand is some of the things that are going around on Twitter, especially. They always talk about social media's terrible thing. Twitter can be a bit, I suppose YouTube can be as well. I always try and stick to things that I either know or are my opinions. I try not to speculate on other people's opinions, etc. And certainly not fantasy things. But that's sort of the point of social media as well, is connecting with people. For me, when I'm talking to you, I could be, that's why it's called Vicky Marie Chats. It's not like an investigative program like Panorama or, anything like that. It's a chat that I'm having with you over things that I think you'll be interested in and that I'm interested in. And also all this speculation, it's almost if, do you think they're doing it on purpose? Are they doing it on purpose? Because it's bit back that the Sun, the BBC, and, is it generating interest, selling newspapers? People can moan about the Sun. Or, I don't like the Sun as a newspaper, but the Sun is a newspaper. Why are people surprised that they're trying to sell papers? That's what they do. That's their job. That's how they survive. Of course they're trying to sell papers. That's like saying, why do footballers score goals? That's what they do. You can't be surprised about it. It's like, of course they're trying to sell newspapers. And the BBC is a broadcast. I don't know what the BBC is trying to do. I mean, the more I hear about the BBC, the more So anyway, this is where we are at the moment. The young person involved has said these allegations are rubbish through their lawyer that is probably paid for by the presenter, because how the young person could pay for it, I don't know. The mother is now saying that this presenter has got inside their head. Which is likely. I mean, at the end, he's 20. I'm saying he, I don't know. They are 20 years old now. They're probably a bit at loggerheads with their parents, especially if their parents are trying to stop them taking drugs. They want to take drugs. They're probably I don't know what the situation is. People have speculated if it's like an OnlyFans type thing. If they're earning good money off that, and I know of young people that have done that, and you can't tell a 20-year-old what to do as much as you want to, because do you remember when you were 20? I remember when I was 20. Whatever your parents thought was a load of rubbish. Basically, they knew nothing. It's only as you get older, and maybe as you have children yourself, that you start to realise it wasn't all rubbish. So probably that young person's like, oh, they're just trying to stop me from having a good time. I'm having a great time. I'm getting paid all this money. I'm having, I've got this brilliant lifestyle. I don't know what, but whereas obviously the parents are looking at it from a different point of view, because the parents, that doesn't matter if they're 20, 30, 40 or 50, that is their child. So, it's all very, anyway, the police aren't investigating at the moment. So I don't know what that tells us, because they've just said they're not investigating at the moment. Sort of covering the bases probably a little bit. So I'm sure more will come out today, and probably by the time this video's even gone out, there'll be another bombshell. And I'll try and come back on live. I've got some classes this morning, which is why I've not done this live. Just want to get it out to you. Did I do my housekeeping? I don't think I did. That's the trouble. I get talking, and once I get talking. So thank you so much for watching this, and that's the best way you can help my channel, support my channel. If you enjoy watching my channel, if you don't enjoy watching it, what are you doing watching it? Go and watch another channel. But if you enjoy watching it, thank you so much. Please give the video a like, because that's a free way you can really help me out. Just by watching helps me out, sharing, subscribing. If you've not already subscribed, please think about subscribing. And if you want to go a little bit further, you can become a member for €1.99 a month. That's cancelable anytime. So you're not signing up for a year, or you can cancel it at any time. So if you're not happy after a month, you can just cancel it. You can also send me super chats, super thanks. Super chats, super thanks is another one. Super stickers, I think. Or you can buy me a coffee on coffee.com. And if you're interested in learning Spanish, let me get my Spanish books up. My other job, I know a lot of you already know it, but every day I'm getting 10 or 15 more subscribers. So some people may not know that I teach Spanish, as well as whinging on social media, moaning about things, or hopefully bringing you things that you find interesting and trying to look into things. I've got some information coming up very soon about the Nicola Bulley case. but you know, I like to look at other cases too. We have our serial killer Sunday. We look at things like this, anything that's in the news that I think you'll be interested in, and then other things that are concerned with, especially domestic violence, etc., issues there, cases, unsolved cases, anything that I think you'll find interesting, really. But you should be able to see this now. This is my other job. This is my bread and butter, if you like, because whatever people think, unless you've got like 1 million subscribers, you don't earn fortunes on YouTube. But I'm not complaining because I enjoy doing it. I do the YouTube videos because I enjoy doing it. And if I earn some money from it as well, it helps me update my equipment or go on location, which I am again on at the end of July. That's brilliant. But it's not my main income. This is my main income. If you want to learn Spanish, you can either order my books, Break the Language Barrier, Levels 1 to 5 by Vicki Riley with an I. And I also do Zoom classes, Spanish Zoom classes. And what was the other thing? Oh, yeah. And then if you want to know a little bit about me, also, I don't know why they don't all come up together. That would be too easy, wouldn't it, Amazon? I have my book, Confessions of a Spanish Teacher, which tells a story of how I ended up living in Spain, becoming a Spanish teacher, my experiences with stalking and the coroner. But it's not all doom and gloom. Some of it is funny as well. So, but again, if you're interested in knowing something more about me, this is the book. All these books are available on any Amazon site. And do you know, I just recently signed up a student from Abu Dhabi, and they're even available on the Abu Dhabi Amazon. Well, it's not the Abu Dhabi. Where is Abu Dhabi? Dubai. They're even available on the Dubai Amazon website. So that was quite interesting. I've never had a student from Abu Dhabi before. Okay, so that's the housekeeping. So, and also I just want to say thank you to everyone who I've got quite a lot of members now. Thank you to everyone who's joined. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed already. Thank you to everyone who ever watches one of my videos, joins in one of my lives, not only to chat. I know a lot of you don't like to chat. You just go in there to watch. Some people are too shy. People send me emails. So thank you so much for all that input, because that's what helps me to carry on, if you like. Sometimes if I get a bit fed up, or I think, oh gosh, you know, it's a bit depressing, or it's knowing that people are enjoying the content that I'm making that helps me to carry on. Okay, so that's that. So let me close that down, because the more I close down, the easier it is for me to find the ones that I want to talk about. So that's the situation with the presenter. So now this calling the youth a he all the time today. So of course that would lead you to believe that the presenter in question must be gay, but not necessarily, not openly necessarily. You know, so it doesn't. I find it strange that there are like, you know, I'm not going to mention any names on here publicly, but there are a couple of names that are being bandied around quite strongly, and neither of these two people have come forward and said it wasn't them, but it can't be both of them, or can it? You know, it's like I just don't understand. If now the lawyer for the young person is saying nothing inappropriate happened, then why doesn't the presenter come out and say, look, yeah, this was me, but nothing inappropriate happened? So it's the secrecy that makes it feel sinister, isn't it? Something else. The two other things that I wanted to mention. First of all, while all this was going on yesterday, what slipped under the mainstream media radar was that Boris Johnson did not hand over the telephone with the WhatsApp messages that he was requested to do yesterday. That seemed to just sort of fade away and nobody really talked about that. So that's wrong, because he was supposed to hand over those messages. The other thing is that something that might come up later in the week is, I don't know if you know about parliamentary privilege, but basically if they want to, an MP in Parliament can say more, well, can actually really, though nobody ever does it, but they could say whatever they like. They cannot be prosecuted. There's no libel, because it's parliamentary privilege. So whatever a member of Parliament says in Parliament, no police action can be taken. It's like this sacrosanct place. So if they wanted to, and apparently they're discussing it, and you let me know whether you think they should or not, they can't, an MP, any MP, could reveal the name of this presenter in Parliament, and they couldn't be prosecuted under the, because it's the, what is it, not secrecy, what's this new act? Well, I say new, it's relatively new. You've got the right to remain anonymous, the Privacy Act or whatever. So, but an MP could stand up in Parliament and divulge the name of this presenter, and no action could be taken against them. And they've done it before for certain things. So let's see, who did they do it for? Because I was reading about this morning, but it's rare that they use it, unfortunately. Because what I think, MPs, they're there at the behest of the people. They're voted in. They're there to represent you. So parliamentary privilege is a legal immunity enjoyed by members of legislatures, certain in which legislators are granted protection against civil or criminal liability for actions done or statements made in the course of their legislative duties. So let's see if it says, if it's easy to find. I just want to see who has been revealed through this process. Yeah, so it says here, let's see, good old Wikipedia. So the Liberal Democrat politician John Hemming used parliamentary privilege to reveal the litigant involved in the, that's right, it was Ryan Giggs, wasn't it? It was the Ryan Giggs case. There was all this thing about Ryan Giggs as the person that he'd applied for a super injunction to prevent reporting by the son of his extramarital affair, but he didn't apply for an injunction in Scotland, and so it was published by the Sunday Herald. And then John Hemming, who was a Liberal Democrat MP at the time, he released the name in the British in Parliament, and it became common knowledge. So who else? So there's been a few that are not so high profile. That's probably the most high profile. Oh, in July 2021, Social Democrat and Labour leader Colin Eastwood exercised parliamentary privilege to name Soldier F, who was the British paratrooper who killed 5 unarmed civilians during the Bloody Sunday massacre of 1972. And in February 2022, Layla Moran used parliamentary privilege to name 35 people who she claimed were Russian oligarchs, arguing that they should be sanctioned due to the war, the Ukraine war. So, yeah, interesting that it can be done. That's probably the most high profile time that happened, when Ryan Giggs, when the guy, I don't know why he thought it was so important to do that, but obviously then, he had his reasons and he did it. So I'm not going to go into that case and all about it, but just to let you know, that's, so if an MP wanted to, they could divulge the name of this presenter if they thought it was in the interests of the public. Maybe you should send your MP an email if you think that he should reveal it, or maybe you think he shouldn't. Let me know what you think. I personally think the name should be revealed, just because that's how you stop speculation. You stop speculation by telling the truth. If you're going to give people Chinese whispers, people are going to speculate. It's human nature. People can talk all the crap they want about, it's nothing to do. If you're telling me anybody, it's human nature. These people, this presenter is a household name. So what they've told us is a household name presenter is involved in this, whether it's anything inappropriate has happened or not, is involved in some sort of thing that's gone on, paying money to someone for pictures. So you release that, and then you think people aren't going to speculate? Come on. This part of me thinks it's just deliberate, because obviously everyone's going to speculate. And then when we're whinging about the social, Kay Burley this morning on Sky News referred to the social media beast. My God, the social media beast. What about the Sky News? I mean, I quite like Sky News, but at the end of the day, they're reporters. They go off and they report on things. They go off and report on deaths, on the earthquake in Turkey, so why is it all right for them to do it? Nobody else is allowed to do it. There's this real sniffiness about social media, but social media, and I think the reason for that is because they know they're getting outdone by social media. Who even watches? Who watches? With respect, what young person? I know a lot of older people still watch the BBC, etc., because they've been brought up on it. I don't even watch it, and I am old. But look at young people; they don't watch all that. They're going to die out, these corporations, and they know it, and so they're trying to do something about it. They're trying to, change things so that they don't, because there's too much invested in it. So that brings me on nicely to talk about the statue. Now, I didn't know this. So much we don't know, isn't there? Till someone brings it to your attention. You do not know the half of what's happening in Britain. It's the same in other countries. I'm not saying it isn't, but in Britain, we're talking about, I'm British, so I'm talking about what's going on in Britain. I know I live in Spain, but I'm still British. And this, do you know? So whenever we see the pictures of the BBC, if I show you, if I put in BBC images, like that image we saw earlier. Right, let me put this up for you to see. So these are the sort of images we get. We put up images of the BBC. We get, this is their modern offices. Look, this revolving door, see that so often. When people are being interviewed outside or filmed going in. Oh, look, that's it. Let me put BBC offices images. That's probably better. Get it up better. That's what we always see, don't we? Yeah, there's the BBC, the outside, the inside. All looks very modern. Now, this picture here, actually. So this is what we don't see. The building at the side here. So there's your modern building. And let me just make sure you can see that. Yeah. So you see, you've got the modern building here. And this is the old building. And it's this statue I didn't even know about. Oops. So it's going to come up. The BBC. Oh, for God's sake. Adverts. Arr. I can't get closer up on there. Right, I'm going to come off that one. Let's go back to this. Actually, I've got it here. So, if I just show you this. So, this is the main building, the old building that you never hardly ever see, because when they're filming the BBC. And this is the statue outside it. So in this statue, you've got a man and a naked child in front of them. Now, okay, I know years ago people used to make statues of naked children, cherubs, this, that, and the other. But that's not all there is to do with this statue. This statue, which is supposed to be Prospero from a Shakespeare play, Prospero and Ariel, was made by Eric Gill. And Eric Gill was a paedophile. He documented the abuse of his daughters in his diaries. And that's why, gosh, the more I look at this, I just think, why haven't the BBC done something about this? So this guy, I don't know, let's see if we can see that. Yeah, this guy here, you can see this guy's in a Spider-Man mask. He actually climbed up there and tried to deface the statue. And the BBC have, in fact, restored it. So he went up there, he took, I'm not, personally, I don't agree with statues. I don't like statues. They give me the creeps, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, I can't find that again. BBC statue. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So he went up there and he took, tried to sort of, I think it's had a couple of attempts of people to do something to it because of its connotations. So it's not only because of it being a man standing behind a naked boy, but let me tell you about Eric Gill, the man who actually, the man who created it, who was a famous sculptor, obviously, there's a lot of his works around the UK because he was famous and he did lots of work. But this is the thing that intrigues me. After he died, his personal diaries revealed his sex abuse of his two eldest teenage daughters during their time in Ditchling Common, incestuous relationships with his sisters, and in 1930, sexual acts on his dog. So this is the guy who made those statues. So there have been calls, obviously, to remove these statues because the guy who made them, he was just a tosser, basically, if you pardon the expression, in more ways than one. So is that statue, not only why is that statue still there because of the connotations, so not only what it looks like, because it looks disgusting, I think, also because of the connotations with the guy who made it, who actually was a child lover and abused animals as well. And so not only because, why is it there because of the way it looks? Why is it still there because of, and the person that was connected with it? Why are the BBC even, that should be a no-brainer, shouldn't it? I honestly do think I live in a parallel universe sometimes. I mean, years ago, we wouldn't have been, well, that's the first time I knew about that statue. That statue's been there all that time. I'm a person who reads the news a lot and takes an interest in things. I didn't know about that. And really, when you think, even if nothing until the Savile, what happened with Jimmy Savile, that should have been gone. That statue, it should be gone. It just, sometimes statues are put up like donkeys years ago. They don't. This is why I don't like statues, because you could put a statue. I expect the statues of Putin in Russia. You know, there'd be statues of lots of people. You know, they give people, they give a target. So look at the Captain Tom statue that was, you know, had feces, human feces thrown over it as a protest. Mrs. Thatcher, I didn't like Mrs. Thatcher, but her statue as well has been desecrated. Statues get desecrated. I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't agree with desecrating anybody's statue. If it was a real person, I would desecrate that statue, because they're not real people. But I just don't believe in statues. What's the point in putting up a statue? Put a plaque, put a bench, put a tree, you know, so not a statue. Because it gives, unfortunately, even nice people that you make statues to, it gives horrible people something to target. And sometimes people who you think that are nice turn out to be horrible. Like, I don't know if a statue was ever made of Jimmy Savile before it was all revealed, but you can bet it would have been in the pipeline. So that's my opinion. What do you think? So, yeah, strange country, Britain, isn't it, when you look into it, really? You know, everything that was great about Britain, sometimes I wonder, you know, why aren't they doing something to save their reputation? Because to me, this is something else that, you know, we're always banging on about the, well, you know, the mainstream media is always banging on about, oh, the TV, the official TV in Russia is this, and in other countries. We're always talking about other countries and their media, their mainstream media, how it's all terrible and that. But I know, because I've got students all over the world, and I know from my Ukrainian student that the media in Ukraine, for example, is just the same. He doesn't trust the media there. You know, it doesn't matter which country you're in, you should not trust the mainstream media to give you the truth. The mainstream media gives you their narrative. I mean, I suppose we all do that. I'm giving you my narrative, but I'm not telling you what to think. I'm just saying to you, this is a situation regarding the statue. What do you think should be done with it? Now, maybe you think, oh no, we shouldn't worry about the fact that he was an admitted child lover, or that he was into bestiality, and we shouldn't worry about that. We should leave that statue up there. It's a work of art. So maybe you think that, well, fine, that's your opinion. But what I'm saying is, have you ever even seen that mentioned in the mainstream media? I certainly haven't. Okay, so I'm sure there'll be more news about all this situation later. As always, let me know your feelings, because I'm really interested to know your feelings. Sometimes it's great when I get comments and I think, oh my God, I am not living in a parallel universe. You know, there are other people out there who feel the same as me. And sometimes you just think, oh my God, what is going on? And why can't people see this? You know, it's like, and, you know, so I'm not an extreme conspiracy theorist. I really am not. There are some things, some conspiracy theories I agree with, some I don't. Some I've got an open mind about. You know, I can only say how my feelings, my gut feelings about things, and evidence. I mean, at the end of the day, you get that is about the statue. That is true. It's not a story that I've made up. Feels like a story that I've made up. When I read about it, I thought it was a story that someone had made up. I just can't believe it could even still be there. You know, I really, really can't. But anyway, maybe I'm wrong. You tell me. You might think, oh no, it should stay there. It's part of our culture or our heritage. You know, how proud we should be of having a child of a famous statue guy who was into bestiality and also incest with his sisters. But apart from that, he was a great guy. He was a really good sculptor. Okay, I'm going. So, as always, live and love very carefully and look after you, because you are the most important person. And just to let you know, it's a very chilly 27 degrees at the moment on my computer, but it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'll see you very soon in the next video. And until then, may your God always go with you. Thank you so much.